video, we looked at the different types of foot locks, and I actually kind of messed up the verbiage of that. So a straight foot lock is again the type where we're attacking the ankle, and then just to make it clear, to make it a little bit less confusing for people, I'm kind of changing the way I'm talking about. Let's do the other side because I don't want to do your hurt leg. Switch with me. A straight ankle lock, straight foot lock, whatever you want to call it, is one where you're basically just hooking up whatever grip you like, and you're just falling to your side and essentially just putting pressure by extending the ankle. That's a straight, okay? Straight foot lock. Then we have what now, because I think it fits better, is what we call an inside foot lock, and what that means is where we're rotating the foot inside. Right, rotating the foot inside, and then we have an outside foot lock where we're rotating the foot outside. Now, the good thing about the inside and the outside is they can cause more damage. They are less high percentage than a straight. Okay, they're a little bit harder to get. All right, but they can do more damage easier. Not that a straight foot lock can't do damage. Again, I say this all the time. I've seen people break people's shin bones with a straight foot lock. I've seen people dislocate their ankle with a straight foot lock. I've seen people rupture their Achilles. And I've seen some pretty nasty injuries just from a straight up, regular old straight foot lock. But it's hard to do. Your mechanics have to be perfect, and you have to have the right body type. Your partner has to have the right body type. Everything has to line up perfectly for that to happen. Okay, it's very tough. 95% of the time, a straight foot lock is more or less a pain the way it's done. But it's very high percentage. It's easy to get. An inside foot lock actually rotates the foot to the inside and attacks it like a toe hold, almost the same way that happens when, again, you roll your ankle and sprain it. All right? Inside foot lock. An outside foot lock attacks the actual ankle joint itself. It attacks the bones in the feet. It can also attack the knee as well, so you have to be careful with this. The cool part about all three of these is these are all three tournament legal, okay? Because we're not going to reap, we're not going to lean to the inside, we're going to lean to the outside. So for those of you that don't know, if you're competing in like what we call IBJJF style matches, white belts can straight foot lock. Inside foot lock, outside foot lock, straight foot lock, they can't really tell the difference between the three, so they're all three legal, okay? What we're going to be working on today is the outside foot lock. I just want you guys to make sure you're careful with this because this can cause some pretty bad injury. So on a straight foot lock, we attack with putting the middle of the forearm on the Achilles. All right. With an inside foot lock, we go shallow with just our wrist, so there's all that space there, and that way when we pin our elbow, it rotates her foot inward. Right. So that's why we call it an inside foot lock. An outside foot lock is going to rotate. Again, this is IBJJF legal, and the other thing I like about this too, from a self-defense standpoint, if I straight foot lock somebody in a fight or in a self-defense type situation, if they're tough, they may just take it. If I outside or inside foot lock you and you just try to just take it, your leg's going to get ripped off. Most people don't know who these guys are these days, but if you get online and look up a match that happened in Dream, it was Shinya Aoki, who's one of the greatest submission artists in MMA of all time, was fighting Tatsuya Kawajiri, and he did this exact same outside footlock that we're getting ready to do right now, and it broke, and the guy still wouldn't tap, and then he cranked on it again after it was broke, and then the guy tapped, and he just about lost his foot. It looked like his foot was coming off. You could literally see the joint in the foot almost coming through the skin. It was horrific. That's what we're doing. So what I want to do on this one is go as deep as possible. Almost like I'm putting it in the bend of my elbow. I'm not doing it right in the center like on a straight foot lock, and I'm not doing it on my wrist like an inside foot lock. I'm almost putting it all the way over here. And I'm going to do like a rear naked choke grip. And I want it to be kind of shallow. I want to be all the way back here, like on almost the bottom of her heel. I don't want to be here. So it almost feels like her heel is going to slip out. That's what I'm looking for. If I pull any more, her heel's going to slip out. I want to make sure her ankle bone is exposed. That's my mark. If I can see their ankle bone, I know I'm shallow enough. If their ankle bone is covered, it's not where it needs to be. So I'm just pulling back just a little bit, okay? and I'm doing like a rear naked choke type grip. And when you do this, you're going to feel your partner's heel rotate to the inside of your chest. So right now, Casey's heel, instead of being straight down, when I wrapped it, has almost, it's right here. It's kind of popped out a little bit. Here. Right? Now, how you do your leg entanglement on this doesn't make a difference. Okay? On this one, you can just be in regular. I have short legs, so I don't really like standard ashi. I like outside ashi with both legs on the outside. There are people who are like, you can't really footlock from outside ashi. Yes, you can. You can't straight footlock very well from outside ashi. But you can outside footlock from outside ashi just fine. Trust me. Ask Tatsuya Kawajiri. He found out pretty quickly. So I'm here. Her foot's kind of turned to the outside. Notice her toes, her knee, and everything's pointed out. That's because when I lock that grip and I get it all the way in there, everything's rotated to the outside. Now I'm just going to cup over. I'm in my rear naked choke. It already should feel bad. I'm going to start leaning onto my shoulder, and then from here I start looking back, and I'm rotating, not straight back, but think about like you're pulling her heel up, and you're pushing her toes with your arm, and you're pushing her toes down with your lat, right there. It's super, super nasty. So her foot ends up in this position, not here. Her foot ends up like this, and I'm pulling her heel up and rotating her toes down. Very similar to what you would do on like a heel hook or a reverse heel hook. Okay? You will feel this in your knee some. Did you get some in your knee? This will absolutely attack your knee depending upon your flexibility level. I've actually tapped to this before, and none of it been in. My ankles are very flexible. I can really take a lot of pressure in my ankles. I've tapped to this before because I didn't feel any of it in my ankle. All of it was in the knee. Okay, so this can attack a lot of stuff. Okay? So this is kind of, even though it's a footlock, right, it's attacking other stuff. Outside footlock. So one more time, we're in our outside ashi position. Ankles can be crossed, they can be open, whatever you want to do. Right, from this position, one thing you want to make sure you're doing when you're in outside ashi is be careful about crossing the outside leg. Right? Okay, I like to cover the inside leg. Okay, because if I'm like this, she might be able to pull that leg, sit up, pull it into your, she might be able to pull it in and get into a heel hook, and now I'm in trouble. Okay, so I always like to, let's go back, I always like to protect that inside leg. Harder for her to heel hook this one. She'd have to pull it all the way across, and that's tough. It takes a lot of time. Okay, so I don't like to cross with this one because it can be very, very dangerous. Okay, I like to cover it. So one more time. I'm getting back there. I can see her ankle bone. I know that's my mark. And look, I'm pushing her knee out and locking that rear naked choke grip. So I'm pushing her knee out. Her heel is rotated in. It's sitting on my rib cage. The bottom of her heel is. Right, so her foot is rotated at a really weird angle. I push her knee out, and I lock her rear naked choke. I don't do a figure four. It's all the way to the bicep. It already starts hurting. And I can actually finish this just by twisting. Where'd you feel that?
In my calf.
Right? So I can attack the ankle, the calf, the foot, the knee, all of it. This one's really nasty, so be very careful with this. Okay, so we're here. I'm in this position. I'm going to fall all the way to my side. And now I'm lifting her heel up and driving her toes down with the back of my armpit lat area. Okay, is that ankle, foot?
Yeah, it's ankle and foot.
Right. And if I use my head, that's when it gets bad. Notice how she's tapping like the "oh my God, let me go" tap, and not the tap that people do when you're choking them. So we get into our outside ashi position, right? I protect my inside foot. I protect my inside foot, right? I get my grip, and notice that's a little trick I do. We talked about that in the last session. If I can't get this in easily, and this is the reason a lot of people ignore footlocks because they have a hard time getting their hand in, they go straight to the heel hook. I think that's a mistake. Shoot this hand through, lift. Now I've got all the space I need to put that hand in. So you're shooting the outside arm through, lifting. Now I can shoot that hand in. Okay. Now look, I'm pushing her foot. You got a weird looking foot. I'm pushing her shin and her knee out and locking that rear naked choke. So the bottom of her heel, it's kind of hard to see on camera, is resting right here. And then my lat and my armpit is over her foot. Here. You don't want it like really exposed, then you could get in trouble. Then somebody could be like, hey, that's not really an ankle lock. So you don't want it to come out too much. Right? You don't want to be obvious that we're sort of cheating. Okay? Here. Right? Enough that it can't really be seen. Does that make sense? I don't want it like this. I don't want that much of her heel poking out. Right? So we wrap, push, lock our rear naked choke grip. Should be as close to the ditch of your elbow as you can get. Now very slowly, I'm going to fall to my side. Now I'm lifting her heel and stretching my back. If I were to go belly down on this, and that's what Shinya Aoki did to Kawajiri, her foot will literally like just about explode. Yes. Now I'm not going to do it, but just imagine me rolling this shoulder to the floor, right? Awful, 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 awful. So let's do that from the other side. Yeah, this is same foot. It's hurting. So what I mean, guys, so you guys can see this time, is when I don't want that much of her heel out. That's when you're going to get in trouble, okay? Push it out. Just enough of her heel. Just enough of her heel, right? Now, cover your inside foot. Fall all the way to your side. A lot of times your partner will tap as you fall. Now from here, I'm just lifting her heel and pushing with my back towards the floor. Okay? Just like that. Super, super, super simple. Guys, this one takes less pressure than any of the other foot locks. This takes almost no pressure to finish. It's super tight, and it's a little bit different. We're not just attacking the ankle straight. The inside foot lock rotates it in like a toe hold. This rotates it out almost like what they call a stopper toe hold in catch wrestling. It is a little bit like a heel hook, but not enough that you're not going to be able to get away with it. This is totally legal because again, it's not a heel hook. It is a foot lock. Right? Just a really nasty one. Okay? Cool.